I tell you, I spent the last 30 days trying to visualize a cash windfall when I was actually $2,749 in immediate debt. I had no job, I had no plan. But the more I tried to manifest abundance, the more terrified I felt. And I realized that the meditation wasn't actually fixing my life, it was helping me to hide from it. Here's the exact psychological shift that helped me move from that feeling of financial terror to actually moving the needle. Here's the thing that helps you stop and put down that mask and actually do the work that does work. My name is Gerald and I am money drunk. And in this video, I'm talking about that exact psychological shift that happened for me. Look, I love meditating. I meditate each and every morning. It's a part of my morning practice, and it's really, really important for me to be able to have that connection, to be able to stop and ask, spend that time asking, how can I help? How can I do something different? But with this abundance meditation, this was something different. This was kind of wishing and hoping that I would get that windfall, that's something that's going to save me from this terrible financial obstacle that I have in front of me, this seemingly impossible rock, boulder that I can't move. And it was actually a way for me to hide. It was a way for me to expect something from outside of myself to come in and fix me, like I need some sort of fixing so that I can move forward. I remember, this was a couple of years ago, this is before I had a program, before I started doing any of this sort of work. And I remember I was starting to make some more money, and I moved into a new home for me and my kids. And at that point, I agreed to take on more debt. I agreed to send my son to private school. I didn't have the extra cash to send him to school. I just figured that I would somehow figure it out and that money would magically appear. And right after I decided to take on that extra debt, I took on even more debt by buying a new car. This is exactly the way that I self-sabotage myself and dig myself into a deeper hole. I keep thinking that I'm going to think my way out of this problem, but what I keep doing is I actually keep digging with my own two hands. That is the trap that I always find myself in. So, what is that psychological shift that changed everything for me? I'm going to get to that in a second. But what I want to highlight here is actually doing the work that actually works. So the work, I call it, is actually asking yourself and writing down what needs to change, okay? Writing down your fears, writing down your unuseful thoughts, and then writing down the opposite of that, and writing down one new action that you can take. So the psychological shift that changed everything for me was asking myself a question. And that question is, what unuseful money thought do I have today that no longer serves me? What's a money thought that I have today that no longer serves me? And one of the ones that comes up for me is that I don't know how to make money. So what did I do? I wrote that down and I wrote about that. I continued to write about that. And when I finished writing about that, I actually told some other people what I had written and shared that fear. And what that does is I realized that fear, that unuseful thought, is only a lie. And in writing that down, in shining the light on it and telling another human being about it, that fear becomes less and less. And if I can reframe that, I don't know how to make money. Well, here's a couple of different ways that I have been making money. And I can do this. I can do that. And oh, by the way, I've been making money since I was 12 years old. And I had my first paper route. So I know how to make money. That isn't the question. But the question becomes, how do I make money today? How do I bridge that gap? How do I find that audience? How do I find that group of people that is willing to pay for the gifts and talents that I have to offer? And the thing that I have changed most from it, for the result of doing all this work, is taking a different action. I've applied for different jobs. I've applied for jobs that actually use my gifts. Instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, what I should do, getting that sales job, getting that high-paying job, getting that six-figure job, that's going to solve all your problems, Gerald. Instead of doing that, I'm looking at jobs that are actually fit into the gifts and talents that I have. These so-called soft skills that don't fit in over here, this is the foundation of the work that I actually want to do, that work that would actually light me up, the work that would actually be fulfilling for me. But it's only by taking that action, by doing the work and then taking that action, can I begin to get these results. And the results are that I have 2 interviews in a couple of days. That is the direct result of me stopping, and instead of spinning in an abundance manifestation and how can I make an extra $2,749 today, how can I fix myself, to actually look underneath, look at the shame underneath, the shame that I've been carrying, the shame of not having that six-figure job, the shame of not working in this acceptable career, and being able to transform that shame into something different, into something that is actually useful. But it takes that psychological shift, and that psychological shift is going from wishing and hoping and that abundance meditation, which just doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it works for a lot of other people. A lot of people are certainly making a lot of money with it, but it doesn't work for me. I have to dig deeper and do the work. So if any of this resonated with you, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I produce great videos just like this, where we dig down deep into the money psychology that affect all of our decisions in our life. And I hope that you join me on this journey as I continue to get money sober.